Happy Saturday, gang. Saturday morning comics with you here for another hangout Saturday morning. Who just was over there talking and listening in on Brian when he was doing his breakfast with Brian. Now we're back over here. So hope everybody's kicking their Saturday off well. Lots of fun things going on in the comic community to talk about. Lots of things going on across conventions going on right now. A great comic book animated shows dropping that I know I want to talk about and everybody wants to get in on. So lots of goodies, lots of good things. But let's say hello and good morning to this awesome community chat. Here we go. We got Robert in the chat. He says, "Have to watch this series. That's what my Sundays will be for getting caught up on the X-Men. I'll be watching." You know, I feel you, yeah, I'll get into it. I'll get into the X-Men animated series and whether or not, because I didn't want to rewatch before watching the new episodes. And I think that was a good choice by me. But maybe we'll see. Let's see. I'm watching your friend doing housework. All right, there you go. Blasted to have it on a 70-inch screen. I don't want to be on the 70-inch screen. That's a lot of wrinkles on a 70-inch screen. We have a man, Magic Lasso. So I'm a little far from the mic here. I was rearranging some stuff, so I guess I got a little far from the microphone. Magic Lasso says it's the theme song for the show that doesn't really have Kate and Charlie anymore because teenagers sleep in. That's just what they do. We got one of the many great Johns in our chat. What's up, Big Daddy? How you doing, sir? He says skipped out of work early, and he's bagging and boarding. That's a W right there. Big W. We got Wellbore in the chat. Happy Saturday. I saw him over there at the Brian LCS's channel a little bit ago. We got Steve, Captain Comics. What's going on? Ahoy to you, sir. I hope you and your awesome lady are doing well. Tori, how you doing? We got Las Cruces in the chat. What is going on, my good friend? We got another John in the chat. We got Brother John in the chat. How you doing, sir? Toby says, is it raining yet? I think it's supposed to rain tonight. I'll double check. And then into tomorrow, which means we probably have a soccer cancellation for Sunday morning. No, you're right. It's supposed to rain a little this morning, wind tonight, and then a rain a little bit overnight. But it looks like the rain that we were supposed to get has died out a little bit. We got Scotty Vaughn in the chat. What's up, Scotty? Good to see you, sir. Hope things are going well. Let's see here. We got Mad Spidey Simon. How you doing? He's the king of the Saturday evening live streams from evening my time, midday, I think mostly his time. What's up, Simon? How you doing? My man Carlito Classico. How you doing, sir? What is going on? He seemed like he was enjoying a stogie last night. We got Chet I Knight saying hi, but not spelling it right. It's perfect. It's just perfect. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. How are you guys all doing in the chat? So on the docket today, little X-Men 97 chat, new comic book day book chat, convention chat, because I will not be here next Saturday because I will be at WonderCon in Anaheim, right next to Disneyland, because I'm doing a 3-day bid there at the con. I'm just trying to see a bunch of friends, dive through a bunch of long boxes and short boxes, and then potentially, as you're going to see here, get some original art stuff going. So that's my goal, and I want your advice because obviously you guys have done a lot of this stuff more than I have. We got Ryan saying, what do you mean not here? What do you mean WonderCon? Oh, Ryan, you should be drinking by now. Are you not a morning? I'm a morning coffee drinker. That's about all you're going to get out of me in the morning. But let's talk about things coming up on the channel, things coming up across the YouTubes tonight. Several members of the chat here, specifically this gentleman, Robert Galvin, is going to be on my YouTube channel tonight, along with Gore Vidal and Lady Fantastic, and we're doing the first of 2 YouTube channel on my channel discussions around the movie Oppenheimer. This one is going to be focused on science and history, and it's going to be a big discussion around where we are now, where we came from, the goals of invention and science, and just be a deep dive into what I would consider to be ethics in science, because obviously that's a big theme of the movie Oppenheimer and a big takeaway of that film. So Gore, Lady F, and Robert Galvin are going to be talking about that tonight on my channel. And then in a week from tonight, another late night movie talk. I'm going to have my man Carlito on. I'm going to have Dan from Comic Chop News, and we're going to be discussing what other movies are similarly vibing with the movie Oppenheimer. I finally got around to watching it. It's a long movie, 3 something hours, and I want to now talk about it. I want to get into it. So we're going to talk about the real guy and history and science, and then next week we'll talk movies and cinematic skill and all that good stuff. So be ready for that. The other thing coming up on my channel is, or not my channel, sorry, on Chaos. Sorry, oh my goodness, I'm fumbling my words today. Lost in Comics. My man Chris, I am on his channel on Tuesday. Instead of doing Omni X-Men, I'm on his channel talking about Batman Year One, David Mazzucchelli and Frank Miller greatness. Arguably my favorite comic book, I think, ever. I don't know that there's a much that it's hard to claim anything is better than that. It's really just right there. So I'm on his channel, and Pouch is going to be there, and we're just going to get into the nitty gritty of Frank Miller era Batman. That'll be a lot of fun. And then I'm on Wednesday night. I'm on Paul Cook's channel. I'm going to be doing his Guess That Key show. So I'll be on his channel Wednesday night. So lots of good things coming up across YouTube, and you can always hit the notification bell here or follow my community tab, because if I'm ever on other people's shows, I try to post it into my community tab, so you can always scroll back through and find, guest appearances when I'm hanging out with Chris on Tuesday night, or when I'm hanging out with Paul on Wednesday night. You'll be able to find those shows easily. All right. What else we got in the chat? I saw some folks jumping in and out. Have you read the Nacelverse comic, John? It's my favorite book from last week. I did not expect it to be good. I haven't even heard of that. I've never even heard of it. What's the publisher? Who's the writer? Give me some details, because I don't even know that I can pronounce it. I feel like I'm lost. Who else do we got here in the chat? Let's see. JP, my man with the blue wrench. What's going on, JP? How's your Saturday going, my D&D homie? Just take the laptop to the con. I've done it before. I can actually do it with my phone. You can, I don't know if they still I've been doing YouTube for almost 6 years. Early on, you could not go live with your phone on YouTube, just straight through YouTube. You can do it through StreamYard without having at least 1,000, I think, subscribers. So when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I thought it was kind of fun. I would just take my phone and go live. So I can do that at WonderCon, but I don't know how strong the Wi-Fi is there, because most cons, the Wi-Fi is not designed for all of us live streaming. Going to my parents today to watch Caitlin Clark destroy in the tournament. All right, there you go. Get some of that March Madness goodness. Good flick, so very long though. Yes, there you go. That's a good description. X-Men 97 was definitely. We got our adjective, and we're missing the adjective, but I think he's going to say that he likes it. Let's see here. We got, let's see, long time no whiskey with JP. You got to get that done. I'm going dollar bin picking in Redlands. Nice. I hope you find some good stuff, man. We got Durs in the chat. This might be a great time, if Durs is still here, to jump into X-Men 97, because he and I had some great discussions about the voices and the voice work. So I may dive right into that. Let's just finish double checking. If I missed anybody, I missed Kevin. What's going on, Kevin? Let's see here. And we got definitely awesome. So there it was. The adjective we needed. So I wanted to talk about X-Men 97. Of course, if you saw my YouTube short or my other places where I posted that video, I really enjoyed it. It was really great. Voice actors. Let's talk about this. So I researched a little bit more about this, and Durs and I both got half the information, and I think now I'm able to kind of like put it together. 2 of the original voice actors have passed away. So when they were restarting the process of this series, they had to replace Cyclops, and they had to replace Magneto. Both of those voice performers had passed away because, again, 30 plus years, it's been a hot minute, life happens. So those are new actors, Magneto's voice actor and Cyclops. On top of which, they offered roles to all the original cast. So they went to, and anyone who had done an original voice, they offered them roles. And certain actors couldn't commit the time, or their voices had changed enough that they couldn't do the same voice they did before. So that was the case for Jean. They felt like that actress's voice had changed enough that they wanted a voice more reminiscent of the original actress. So they gave the role of Jean to a new voice actor, and the lady who did Jean originally is now voicing Valerie Cooper, the sort of government character, the blonde lady. So that's a new voice for Jean, but the voice actress for Jean is still on board. Same with Jubilee. I guess they felt like they wanted a younger voice and something that someone that could represent Asian culture as far as like that character, right? So in that case, the voice actress for Jubilee is now doing a different voice, and they have a new actress doing Jubilee. When it comes to Wolverine, it's the same guy. Gambit, I believe, is the same guy. Rogue, I think, is the same lady. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. So for the most part, Beast, most of the original cast are either doing the same part or they've got a separate part. And so the voice acting has been hitting for most people, but I know some people are like, doesn't sound quite the same. And obviously through age and recasting, some of that stuff does sound a little bit different. Magic Johnson says Gambit is a different guy. Okay. And he's one of the ones that's got a new role then, I guess. So there you go. They could hire Mark Hamill to play. Mark Hamill can do anything. Let's just be honest. Let's just do that every time. Every time I hear X-Men 97, I think of the issue and not the show. And that's fair. I still hate Gambit. The show just reinforced that. There you go. So the voice, I just wanted to talk a little bit about those voice actors because I think, firstly, I felt they all did a wonderful job. The new actor for Cyclops and the new actor for Magneto were excellent. I didn't notice any real differences between any of the rest of the cast. The voices felt consistent, but I will also say, and this to the original point I was making, I chose not to rewatch the original show. I sort of intentionally avoided it because I didn't want to make insta comparisons. I didn't want to feel like I had just looked at this, animated series and just heard those voice actors, and now I'm going to do the other one, and I'm just going to force myself to do a comparison that might rob me of enjoyment. So I was very intentional that I didn't want to go back and watch the original at least first, and I was just going to let it happen. After that, it was kind of like, okay, now I just want to see if it's any good. And then when I saw that it was good, now I'm tempted to go back and actually rewatch, but I want to wait, I think, a little bit. We got my man Bleeker in the chat. Good morning to you. Bleeker was doing a bunch of streams last night. I saw him on Biggie's. I think I saw him over, and then he did his makeup. I saw him over on Tony's. So he was doing a bunch of stuff. How you doing, sir? I know everyone is on about Bootygate, but I noticed they have downgraded the boobage as well. Certainly the animation style is definitely subtly different. But again, for me, all the nostalgia kicks were there. And more than that, they hit on some of my favorite stories and adapted them in a way where they were different, but it all worked. And that was the more impressive stuff for me. But yeah, Bootygate, very sad about Bootygate. So if you have thoughts on X-Men 97, you want to drop your thoughts in the chat. I appreciate it. Overall, for me, they're doing some of my favorite issues of the comics. Trial of Magneto. They're rehashing Life, Death, and Storm losing her powers, and all those classic stories. The birth of a child for Scott. I think there's a lot of really great classic X-Men stories that are being mined here, and I'm excited for those because this is the era of X-Men that they're diving into, that like mid 80s, when I was super into these books and first finding these characters. Now, are they identical to the books that I read? No, because the team is totally different. You throw Gambit in there and Bishop in there, you're getting a very different feel. No Colossus, no Nightcrawler. It's a different feel, but I didn't have any problem with it. It all worked for me. Storm Rogue has no bum. I say we riot till she gets it back. I hate Storm's delivery. It's choppy and slow. All that chanting and she uses her powers is still silly. Otherwise, I love it. I hear that voice, and it is Storm's voice. Even when I read the comics, I feel like I hear that woman's voice. The same way I hear, Kevin Conroy when I read Batman, or Mark Hamill when I read Joker. I think those great voice actors sort of transcend their medium. The same way that I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but Optimus Prime is always going to have that actor's voice, right? And I think even when you read those comics, you're going to hear those performers. And Storm is up there with Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill and Optimus Prime, as far as just being at a level where when I read those books, I think subconsciously I'm hearing those voices. That's just what's happening for me. My man Stu is in the chat. What's up, Stu? It is good to see you, my friend. I hope things are going well. He said Storm jumping at the thunderclap was one of the best moments to me. There you go. There you go. Rogue Magneto past romance hints were icky. He's way older. I mean, that's always been the case, right? Even when they were in that Jim Lee Savage Lands cover, which I pulled out last night on Justin's show. He's always been older, even when they were romancing in Age of Apocalypse or whatever, right? It's always been that way. I need to drag out my X-Men animated cells. Ooh, there you go. I like that. Even in Invincible, I was like, hey, that's Optimus Prime. Because he has that voice. And even when he can adapt it to other characters, I think it goes back to that exposure we had, right? By the sound of it, looks like Disney unfairly has fired the director. His resounding echo chamber by the same heads, including Critical, Yellow Flash, Ryan Kindle. So that's a good discussion topic too, Toby. It seems like there's two reasons that they fired him, and I don't know. And this is all the conjecture I'm hearing. Number one, I hear he was incredibly difficult. A lot of arguments, a lot of drama around behind the scenes. And I believe he was starting to write the third season. He has already written the second season with his team, and it got incredibly contentious apparently in the production. But the reason I'm hearing more is that he has an OnlyFans account, that the creator of X-Men 97 had been running an OnlyFans account. I don't know how graphic it was, or it sounds like it was not very graphic, but that I think was the bigger issue for upper management at Disney. Was this is just not a good fit, and so they let him go. That's what I'm hearing. I still use Halle's voice when get out. Halle Berry is not my Storm. Halle Berry is a wonderful actress, a beautiful woman. She had horrible lines of dialogue, and I can't hear her voice. I don't want to hear about what happens to a frog, the same thing. I don't want any of it. I don't want to get that out of my house. I want it all out. At some point, I'll watch X-Men. Never had the nostalgia for me that Batman did or Spider-Man did. It was always the distant third. Let the hate fly. Batman is always the best, and I think that's a great point, JP, because I think something about Batman is timeless for me. And I've tried to rewatch G.I. Joe. I've tried to rewatch Transformers. I've tried to rewatch He-Man. None of that stuff works for me anymore. It all just falls flat. And I loved G.I. Joe, and I can't get into it. I struggled. During COVID, they started running it for free, streaming on YouTube. I was so disappointed by how little emotional weight it carried for me as an adult. I was like devastated. And the only one from that era that holds the weight is Batman the Animated Series. And I think it's on a different plane. It is timeless. It is its own thing. I'm worried that if I rewatch X-Men, it's going to be the same. So that's part of the trepidation to like dive into it again as well. So for me, I don't know. So I'm holding back, but I do want to rewatch it at some point because I have nostalgia for it for sure. And I did enjoy the Spider-Man, but for me, Spider-Man was the distant third. The quartering, Disney felt heat. I mean, it's possible. It seems like everybody loved it. Yeah, I agree. Halle Berry's not my Catwoman. She's not my Storm. She's not my anything. The voice is better. Nope. Get out of here. Nope. You're out. OnlyFans and X-Men. There's a storyline. heroes with a side hustle. Instead of heroes in a half shell, it's heroes in a side hustle. I get it. People complain about the animation style, but I grew up watching Super Friends, so everything looks better to me. OnlyFans, triple X-Men. Guys are killing me. So, a lot of drama behind the scenes, I think, on the head producer showrunner side, but I think it sounds like he dug his own grave a few different ways. And if it creates a better work environment where the other writers who are clearly doing good work and the voice actors who are clearly doing good work and the animators, then maybe they can get back to continuing that in a good way. But it does sound like they've basically finished writing season 2 and they're just in the animation voice acting portion of that. So fingers crossed it comes out well. So that was me, at least as far as X-Men 97. I'm loving it. I'm going to continue to watch it. I may even try to trick the girls into watching it. I know they aren't as big of fans of that show as they were Batman. In fact, Charlie is obsessed with Batman and loves, and apparently when she was homesick over the last month, has been diving back into HBO's backlog of Batman animated stuff. So watching animated films, some of the DC animated stuff. So she's watched a ton of stuff, I guess, while she was sick. Didn't tell me any of this. Comic book loving dad got left, in the bus. I didn't even get to come out and join her and enjoy some of this stuff. So she ditched me big time. But apparently she's been loving and watching a bunch of this stuff. So I'm excited to hear her thoughts on it. Man, Drew Manchu. Bay, how you doing, man? He's been over on the C Woodard 19 YouTube channel making content with Seawood and Discovery Bay and Comics Misexplained. So if you're missing some of those great Comic Core guys, that's definitely where you need to go. Seawood 19 is doing good stuff. Bleeker says Batman the Anime Series is up there with the Fleischer's Superman. I don't know if Fleischer's Superman. Is that like the original Superman? Or no, that's the one that came later, isn't it? I think it's the one that came later. Robert Springs, what's going on? He says, hello, everyone. We got my man, Marcus Dad Bod Champion. What are you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I swear I need to get in on one of your Tuesdays. There's a Tuesday coming up. I might crash. April 2nd. Be ready. I may get in on some FOC. You're not even going to touch the FOC button. I'll be in there before the show goes live. Just be ready. What is up? My man Adrian Actual Drac is in the chat. What's going on? JD Raging Cajun, how's your weekend going? Disneyland again? You treating the lady to some Disneyland today? What's going on? Teenage daughter did her own thing and didn't want to watch with dad. I'm shocked. I tell you. Get out of here, this guy. Bob is in the chat. How you doing, Bob? I saw your show with Bueller the other day. That was fantastic. I wish you the best. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Cyclops was good in 97. So far, he's a total boss. Yes, he does have a really great arc in these 2-issue episodes and gets a lot of time on screen. And I think it's all the best parts of him, except for that ridiculous hero landing. I'm sorry. The only gripe I have across the whole 2 episodes is the insane logic of his hero landing. It makes no sense. So I'm happy to get into that in a long form at some point. I need to crash Marcus's stream sometime too. There you go. Let's get in there. FOC and chill Tuesday nights. Yeah, part of the thing that bothers me about that hero fall that Cyclops does is it ruins X-Men 94. That was the whole point of that scene in X-Men 94, is that he couldn't do that wouldn't work. And he needed to be saved, but he sacrificed himself and made it so that he was the last one they rescue. So you're going to rob that comic book scene of its glory to do something ridiculous that makes no sense. No, it's bad. It's stupid. It makes no sense. But the show is great. It's my only minuscule little gripe is that scene. 90s comic animated stuff was prime. Let's see, Spidey, X-Men, Batman, Supes, on and on and on. Yeah, totally agree. It was a great era. Loved the hero landing, concussive blast to the extreme. The physics of it, the logic, it just makes no sense. Get over it. I will not. It's not a good scene. It's not a good scene. It's cool, but it makes the only thing that would have made it work for me, Chet, is a Deadpool cameo right at that moment, right? Hero landing, he's gonna do the hero landing. If Deadpool had run through, I would have been like, oh my god, what a great moment. And I would have let it go, right? I had to crash Marcus's stream last Tuesday. Community just doing the Lord's work. No FOC, right? Stop that FOC talk. How dare they abandon physics in this cartoon about mutants with superpowers, right? Exactly. It did not rule. Terry's in the chat. He says, I am ready for comics and cartoon talk. Well, you've come to the right place, my man. Kenneth Bird is in the chat. Kenneth, I hope you're doing well. I hope your health has been getting better. Let us know how you're feeling. We hope and send you the best. John, Cyclops bad, stupid, makes no sense. John speaks truth. Coach, so he says, I'm celebrating that I've joined membership for discounts, emails, and polls this week. It virtually paid for itself. There you go. Hey, save yourself some money in this gig if you can. Good start to the first two, but Gambit needs more love. I agree with that, JD. Are we hitting shops today, JD? What are we doing today? Are we hitting some shops? Chat needs to get over it. We all agree with that. Let's talk a little bit about the con that I'm going to coming up next weekend, because I want to get some of your advice on some things. I really want to hear from you guys about some plans I've got. What I've collected over the last 5 years has been some sketch covers, and I got a bunch of them, and some of them I have ideas for, and others I have no idea for. And I know that I want to do something fun. I don't know that I've looked at the artist list for WonderCon enough to feel like I'm sold on any particular individual as being like, oh, I need to get something from this one. I don't think they've got enough of the like marquee names that I really love, but there are some good nuggets in there, some interesting people that I'm kind of curious about. So let's talk first about it's raining over here. JT says staying in con next week for sure. I'm gonna see you there for sure. Gonna see you there. I've got a Batman black and white sketch cover, and I've been getting these fun remarks on them from community from artists and creators, and they're basically giving me a rogues villain character, from Batman's universe, and then their signature, right? So I got Poison Ivy by Jay Lee. I got Sabine Rich's Catwoman, and then David Nakayama's Joker. And the back cover is blank as well. And I'm basically just, I'm charting who the person is and what they drew. And then, I'll get maybe one or two more on the front and then a set on the back. So I'm going to definitely bring this every day. And what I do is basically just find an artist that I like and find their rate. If the rate is reasonable for a remark and the timing works, give them the book with my phone number and tell them the instructions, which are pick any Batman villain you like that hasn't been done yet and go for it. Anyone that you like. And so I give them the freedom, because there's a lot of Bat villains, to kind of say, who do I want to draw? I would love a Two-Face at some point. I need a Two-Face and a Scarecrow and a Freeze. They would all be great. But I don't want to pigeonhole anybody. I want them to be free to be saying, I do a lot of this, but I've never drawn this character, or I haven't done it in a while. I want to do this. So I want them to have that freedom. So Nakayama went first. He chose Joker. Jay Lee went second. He chose Ivy. And then Sabine Rich went third, and she chose Catwoman. So they've all kind of gone and done their own thing, which is kind of what I like about it. I don't want to force anybody to do something. Spidey says, try and match artists with characters and make a plan of attack. Lists always fill up quick for bigger named artists. Exactly. That's why I'm chatting with you all right now. But I don't see any big name artists at the con that I'm like, ooh, I need something from them. I know that there's two opportunities coming up for me to meet Tony Fleecis. If you don't know him, he's the artist from Stray Dogs. And he has a very cartoony kind of style. And I might give him a chance at it as well. He's coming to my local comic shop one day. And I may just save the remark for that day and just pay him at my local comic shop when he's there. Because I'd kind of rather do that. I'd kind of rather not do it at the con when he's going to be swamped. But at my shop, he might not have as many people asking for sketches. and he could take his time and be less exhausted from the middle of the convention. So I think I'm gonna wait on Tony Fleecis and do this one in person. He's coming on the 12th, which to my local shop, which is a Tuesday. So I could drop in at some point, I think, on that day and just drop it off and then pick it up on my way home or something, right? So that's my plan for Tony Fleecis. Beyond him, I've looked over the list and I haven't seen anybody I loved, but I'm gonna have to think about it. I'm gonna have to see as I walk through the con and see who's there. I'm going all 3 days, so I have no problem paying and dropping it off and then picking it up a day later or something like that. It's only a remark. I'm not getting like a full sketch cover for that. What do I see in the chat? People saying, "Oh, no condiment can get out of here." Bat villain, Sonora Lola Lasagna. I don't even know. It sounds like you're just making up names now. Giving them freedom, sure. Have him do Ace the Bat Hound for sure. Which creators did you find had the highest rates for autographs or drawings? Let's see. Jay Lee is incredibly reasonable, and he's at almost every con, and I highly recommend him at some point. I think everybody should get something from Jay Lee because he is incredibly connected to the community. He's incredibly talented. He's an icon. And he is incredibly available. His rate was very reasonable. The bigger names have higher prices. So Nakayama wasn't cheap, but I thought he was incredibly easy to work with, very friendly. I liked his team. I like his stuff, and he's really great online. So I'm picking people that I feel like have reasonable rates to begin with. I know David Mack is going to be there, and I'm a big David Mack fan. So he might be somebody that I ask to add a remark to this. I tend to always hit his table and get something signed by him. But let's talk about David Mack, because this is a book he did with Brian Bendis called Cover. And it's focused on a comic book creator who gets pulled into espionage. And then there's a side story told all through it of like samurai. So there's a lot of things happening here, and I have a blank sketch cover for it. And I've been trying to think for the longest time, I want David Mack to do it. Front and back, there's a lot of room here, and I'm trying to think of something that would be fun for it. Part of me wants, like, I don't know, something Wolverine samurai era. I don't know. It doesn't in any way connect, but I'm trying to think of, obviously of Elektra that fits into that same world that he's worked with a ton, Daredevil and things like that. So I'm trying to think of something that would connect comic creators and espionage and spies and samurai. I don't know. My brain hasn't come up with something I love for it yet, but I have this, and I will get a David Mack sketch on it at some point. I'm just trying to parcel that one out. Isn't Art Adams doing remarks? He would kill a Two-Face. I mean, absolutely. If Art Adams was there, I would go immediately to him. But I don't see him on the Artist Alley list. I did not see Arthur Adams anywhere on there. So I will definitely be listening as we get closer to see if, because there's still a week. Maybe there's some new people that add at the last second. Ethel Merman was Sonora Lola Lasagna from Batman 66. That was a long way to go for that joke. I don't know. Is Miko Suyon there? I didn't see Miko's name, but let me scroll down. The problem is the website's not good, and navigating it is kind of a pain because, I don't see Michael Golden is there. And I know we talked about him from the old days of Marvel. Some of the people are listed under T because the name of their booth is The Art of Michael Golden. So they're listed under the letter T. Some people are under G for Michael Golden. Some people are under A for Art of Michael Golden. So their website is horribly organized, not by the name of the individual who's hosting the booth, but by whatever name they choose to call their booth. Right? If I choose to call mine by my production company and it's, Golden Arts, my fans need to know that that's what I call my booth because that's how it's listed. So I'm struggling to go through this. This is WonderCon in Anaheim. And it's like, I can't even navigate this thing. So the whole, I've scrolled at the whole list a few times to try to see if there were names I recognized, like Jay Lee, David Mack, what have you. And I've gone through and looked at a few, but nobody's jumped out to me as like that guy or that lady. You need to, meet up with them and get their work. So that's where I'm at so far with the names. So I may not get much of anything on these. Who knows? I've also got a Batman Catwoman blue sketch cover. So I thought this just sounded fun and funny, and I thought there's a lot of ways to go with this. Part of me wants like Batman Catwoman on one side, Superman Lois maybe on the other, like the double date storyline that Tom King did, because this is King's book. So I maybe want something relating to their the double date issue. I don't know. So I'm thinking I may save this one till I get like an artist that can donate, a front and a back and do something really elaborate. But I do want to do something with this sketch cover, Batman Catwoman. And I got two more. I know exactly what I want to do with this. I want to have somebody draw me a Mystique turning into the Lady in Red from Department of Truth. That's what I want, is some kind of cool drawing of a Mystique / Lady in Red. And I don't even know that I need the back cover to get done, because there is a blank back cover to this. I just need to find the right artist at the right price to really do something cool with this. What's up, Tony? Comic Verse is in the chat. Dustin Nguyen is going to be there, so I'm definitely thinking of what I can get from him. He might do one of my Batman sketches because he's an awesome guy. So I'm trying to think of something fun for this Department of Truth, the right artist to give me my Mystique, because the Lady in Red could easily be Mystique. I just feel that, and I totally want that look to it. That's just something I'm going with. So I just need to find the right person for that. And then lastly, and I'm going to open this one up so you can see what I mean about it, this is the most recent one I bought. Most of those other ones I've purchased quite a few years ago, or at least a couple of years ago. So I purchased when they released, and Magic Lasso is going to dig this, when they did the facsimiles for the new Teen Titans, they also released some with a blank front and back, gentle sketch cover. I want to do something fun for the new Teen Titans. I'm a big new Teen Titans fan, and this could be a really fun piece. I have no idea what I want. Originally, I was like, oh, it could be like an homage to the new Teen Titans Uncanny X-Men crossover book. But then I was like, no, I don't want it to be X-Men related. I want it to be more Titans related. And then I thought, like, oh, is there an homage to another cover that I could do? Like, is there a great team cover that I love, like a Secret Wars 1 or something, that I could have somebody try to recreate with the Teen Titans instead? So I'm just thinking through like what I could do with something cool like that. It's got a front and a back, so you could do a wrap around if I wanted to like connect it in some way. But I don't think it's necessary at the same time. I don't know. This is the one I have the least amount of thought placed on. It's got to be something that fits the new Teen Titans well. But it could be an homage. It could be based on, loosely based on something else. I don't know. I'm still pondering that one. Let's see what the chat has to say. Mystic can be a man baby. Yeah. Mystique can be a man. Mystique can be a man baby. I think I'm confused about what that is. Thanks, Stu. Yeah, I think it could be a really cool cover for Department of Truth. I think it would look awesome. Do you feel, since the blank cover is blue, that the art needs to be colored in? I mean, I think for something like that, I might ask for that. I might pay extra to have it get colored. I know that was one of the cool things about people like Adam Hughes when I met him at Baltimore Comic-Con, is that his wife was the colorist, and so he could draw it, ink it, right, and then she would take an extra night or whatever, and she would completely color it if you wanted to pay that extra. So there are duos that do that kind of thing. So I might be willing to go in on that. It's possible I just do like a tattoo. I just do a once over, and then we look at it and then decide maybe at another con later on, I have the same artist color it. That could be something as well. Nguyen does do incredible work for the price. At least a few years ago, I was super happy with his remark, almost a full sketch. That's fantastic. So yeah, I may ask him to. I think he and David Mack would be my top picks to add a Bat villain, uh, depending on how much space they needed. There's room on the back, obviously, to do several on the back as well. So that they are high on my list for sure. Mac and Nguyen. Will you grade the blanks? I don't think so. I think it's a waste because most of the unless I'm getting it witnessed in person, I don't feel the need. I think these are just stuff for me, stuff that I love. They'll sign it and it'll look great, and it's not going to be anything that I'm planning on flipping or selling. So I just add it to my what I would loosely call original art collection, because I don't have an extensive original art collection or anything. I'm just dabbling in that field. But I think it would be I think it's just fun. So I've been buying these up or getting them as gifts, because this Department of Truth came from my man I Got Issues, but the others I all snagged along the way. And just rather than carry 3 store folios through the con to try to like get signatures, what I prefer to do is bring something like that and have a talent work right on that and sign it and make something that's unique. Avengers 1, sorry, where is it? Avengers 1 homage with Deathstroke in Loki's spot. That could be cool. Or an Avengers 4 homage with the whole team charging, at you with, replace Captain America with Beast Boy or something, right? Mac won't be cheap, but I have an in for his OA. Ooh. Maybe we got to talk, Simon. David Mack was great, and I've chatted with him 2 or 3 cons. I got this Wonder Woman print, and he signed it at San Diego Comic-Con a few years ago, and I bought one of his hardcovers for his Echo issues of Daredevil, and he did a remark of Daredevil and signed it on the inside. It was really, really great. So I've been a huge Mac fan, and I think he's just super talented. So I always try to stop by his booth, and if he's got things to sell, I try to snag something from him, because he's just that kind of a great guy. So there you go. If you're watching on the replay, or if you you think of a good idea for some of these, definitely leave a comment. I'm happy to. What I've been doing is, I didn't do it on that one yet because I have no idea for the Teen Titans one, but I've been doing is try to keep notes for myself. So this is David Mack sketch cover. Let's see. This is a list of who's done the pieces so far. This is the idea for the Mystique cover for Department of Truth. So I just try to leave myself notes and then, build an idea around something, little by little. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right. Let's see here. I think I'm caught up on the chat, so I'm going to dive into new comic books that I've read this last week, because I read a handful. And Ryan, you're still in the. I haven't seen Ryan. Yeah, he's still in the chat. He was there just a couple minutes ago. I did read the new issue of Wonder Woman, which has this phenomenal cover by, I don't know, maybe Ryan knows, but this is one of the best covers I think they've had in this run. I think this one is just an absolute stunner. Gives me old Silver Age kind of vibes. So fantastic cover. The issue I thought was a little slow and not my favorite one so far. It could be Sozamika. It doesn't have any kind of a name unless it's under the Women's History logo, but it could be. The story focused. Wow. My words aren't working today. It focused on Wonder Woman and Superman trying to find a birthday present for Batman. And the whole issue was just the two of them, cruising to find a gift for Bruce. But it was really about the three of them and their unusual friendship. And a lot of Superman, Wonder Woman, just what makes their friendship work kind of stuff. I don't know that I loved the characterization of Superman. It seemed a little off to me. It didn't seem like Tom King hit Superman's character on the head very well, like really nailed that character. but I was entertained by the interaction, and it has an emotional payoff that worked well at the end. The artwork was not nearly as good as the other artist who had been on it up to now, and I can't remember their name either. So it was a step down in art quality and a sideways move in story. So it was not the best issue, but I know that it was a filler because they got to make enough time for the main artist to stay on the book and be able to keep up with the pace. Issue 6 and issue 5 were so freaking good. I knew that we were going to probably take a little bit of a breath here in issue 7, but still very good, still very enjoyable. Let's see. I'm trying to get to Alan Qua. Is it Quaha? Is it Quaha? Something like that. Sketch on a Blank. Love his art. Okay. He's not coming as far as I know to this con, but you never know. I feel like sometimes I show up to these cons and I'm like, oh, they've got a booth. Oh, they're at the DC booth or they're at the Marvel, whatever, that kind of thing. So that was I only bought 3 comics this week. That was one. Here's another one with a red background. And this one I think is hilarious. This might be the funniest cover that I've seen in a long time. It's just Nightwing getting to drive the Batmobile, and Bruce is pouting about it in the background. Dan Mora, who is doing the World's Finest, is drawing this cover, and it's absolutely amazing. Sorry, I keep putting it where my logo is, but I don't want to hit the microphone with the book. Yeah, it's better over here. Sorry. But this fits the book really well because it's kind of a deep dive into, well, not a deep dive. It's a glancing look at the history of the relationship between Bruce and Dick, and I like the way they interact with each other. So this was very entertaining, and another great Nightwing issue from Tom Taylor. As we near the end, I think he's got 6 more issues left, something like 6 issues left, and then he'll be done. I think it's the end of summer, somewhere September, and then they'll be done. Sad to see it come to an end, but I just want them to end on their own terms and create something special. So somehow both of my DC books have red backgrounds this week. Interesting. Did not see that coming. The other books I read I read digitally, except for one of the X-Men books. So I got to load my brandings here. Let's see. I loaded some overlays for you guys so you can see. Of course, I didn't read that one. I read X-Men Forever, and I bought my LCS is holding a copy of this for me because it wasn't on the shelf yet when I got there on Tuesday. So I read X-Men Forever. This is a heavy Jean story where we're dealing with her being dead, basically, and trying to find her way back. This is Kieran Gillen, who's been writing the best X books for me in the Hickman era. The Kieran Gillen books have been my favorites, along with Al Ewing's right there with him. Speaking of Al Ewing, I also read his Resurrection of Magneto, the sort of finale to that storyline. Both were great, and I really thought that Al Ewing and Kieran Gillen have continuously kept me excited and fascinated with what's going on there. It is a great Jean cover, and I think they've been continuing. It's clearly the same creative team coming off of Immortal X-Men, Kieran Gillen's other run, and I'm just all in on it. It's just really, really good stuff. Carlito says, JP, I like that sketch idea. Where's JP's sketch idea? Oh, the Avengers one. Sorry. Put Deathstroke in for Loki. There you go. Let's see. I think I did that. I got it done. You have to arrive Tuesday an hour before closing. There you go. Just quickly grab it when you get there. But both X-Men books I thought were great. I think I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying the Resurrection of Magneto, because it seemed like a throwaway, we need to get Magneto back, even though we just killed him, kind of a thing. I've been surprised at how like deeply felt it is. And it's using Magneto and Storm, 2 of my favorite characters. Al Ewing is writing it. And it's utilizing the Shadow King as a villain, which I love the Shadow King. So I think that is the main crux of what they're doing. And it's just making for a very entertaining mini. Very entertaining. And that leaves us, I believe, 1 book left. Nope, 2 books left. I'll do the other Marvel one. I've caught up now 4 issues deep on Chip Zdarsky's Avengers Twilight. I think this is a very good Elseworlds book. If you are a DC person who is like, Marvel just doesn't make good books, you like the Elseworld stuff that DC does, you should read Avengers Twilight. It is exactly what you want. There's no problems with it. You will absolutely love it. So if you're somebody that's like, "Ooh, I love, Red Sun Superman, and I love these Elseworlds, Dark Knight Returns, sorry to say, is Elseworlds. I like that stuff." This is the Marvel equivalent, and written by Chip Zdarsky. It's an absolute banger. So it's called Avengers Twilight. I don't know how many issues it'll be. They've done 4. So I don't think it's going to be a 12-issue series. It feels like more of a 6-issue series. But that's a worthy trade. Or if you go to your shop and they've got them all for cover price, I think you would be somebody that would absolutely love it. So really, really good stuff. And there you go. Marcus is saying the same thing. Great, super relevant to the now. That's a very good thing to say. Yeah. Chip is going to be on Actual Drac. Yes, he is. He's a great interview and very funny, clever guy. So I'm assuming that that's going to be a very entertaining watch. And he knows his characters. His Daredevil run was so absolutely stupendous. And I knew I would enjoy Twilight. I just am not as interested in Elseworlds as sometimes other people are. So I knew I would just prefer to read it like kind of all at once. So I waited until there were 4 issues and I could just kind of read a bunch. And then I'm going to wait until it's done to read the rest of them, I think. That's probably what I'll do. But it is very enjoyable. And I don't want to, decry it or complain about it because it's Elseworlds, because that's just not my jam. But it's really good. It's really good. And that leaves one left. The last one that I haven't discussed that I read. I'm keeping up on the Energon universe. And I read the newest issue of Cobra Commander, which is easily the best issue that they've done of Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander, I think, was my least favorite of all these new series that they've been doing. There's Duke, there's Void Rivals, there's Transformers, and there's Cobra Commander. I know they've got others planned for later on. And I'm keeping up with all of them. And in typical John fashion, I'm not keeping up with them because I love them. I'm keeping up with them because I want to be in the conversation. I like being able to speak on these books. I don't hate any of them. I just don't love any of them. The newest issue of Transformers was my favorite. This newest issue of Cobra Commander is my favorite. The first issue of Duke was my favorite of that run. So there's definitely really good ones in there. As far as consistency, I just haven't had the same passion for them that most of the community has. So I'm clearly in the wrong. I'm not claiming that my opinion is like the right one. The Tomax and Zaymot, I don't remember them showing up. But this particular storyline has all the like Zartan crew, right? All of his interconnected dreadnoughts, and then a couple of his family members and stuff, because it's mostly in the Bayou, this storyline right now. And the whole issue of this 3rd issue of Cobra Commander was Cobra Commander gets captured. He's on the run, and he gets captured by Zartan's cronies, and they try to torture him for information, and he won't break. So it's a really like self-contained story, really well handled, really creepy. His mask won't even really break. They try to like blowtorch the mask to break it. He's wearing this like sort of glass metal kind of visor thing. And they create a crack in it, but that's as far as they can do. And then they just torture the daylights out of this guy, and yet he won't break. It was really exciting, really interesting, and good character work. So for me, this was it. I mean, it might be the best or my favorite single issue that they've done outside of maybe Transformers issue 6. So really, really good. I felt better now about keeping up with it, because for the most part, I've been like, it felt like homework a little bit. So I'm glad that this issue hit as hard as it did. It was very entertaining. In 7 months, and I'm feeling the urge to have a nightcap. Well, I mean, I don't know if you're taking that break for health reasons, Toby, or for psychological reasons, or just for personal reasons. But I try to do everything in moderation if I can. I feel your pain. The days that we're living in, I think sometimes can be very stressful, and I'm sorry that you're feeling that stress. So that is it, folks. I've gone through my books. I've gone through the X-Men 97. I've gone through the con that I've got coming up. And if you've got ideas for how to use my sketch covers, I would love to hear it. My assumption is day one, I'm going to bring 2 store folios because I've got a few. Let me show you my folios. I've got 3 of them. This is the one I got at MegaCon in Orlando. And you can see I put community member stickers on these things. And you can see I've got all my friends' stuff listed here. Oh, coffee delivery. Thank you. I got my C3 homies. I got Izzy. I got Damaris. So I got all lots of good people and good friends on here. I got mine on the back just so I know, hey, I can differentiate. This is my original one. It's falling apart a little bit, but it's got a lot of great community member stickers as well. You can see some people, a few duplicated, just because I love Roscoe's logo. It's so funny. Got Rob's Fat Stacks on the back. Izzy, I got 2 different Izzyverse ones. And I got my Spawn one that I got through Big B McFly, the comic guy, way back in the day. I covered up the Spawn logo with Old Wolf because, that's just the kind of guy I am. So my plan is to fill one of these, and I'll do it right now, with my sketch covers. If I can open it. There we go. And bring that along, and then bring a couple more for any bin diving that I do where I find successes. But that's about it. I'm not going to pack a bunch of books to get signed. I've got one that I want to bring for Marv Wolfman, one of my favorite writers. He's going to be there. He lives in this area, and I love seeing him every time I can. I need him to sign one of my graphic novels from New Teen Titans. And I'm hoping to hunt down a couple of the ones I'm missing so that I can at least extend my run and get those signed from him as well. But those are the big things on my list. And then seeing a bunch of community friends and buying books for friends, Magic Lasso included. You can't tell me no. You can't tell me no. I like doing things for friends, and I haven't done something for you in a long time. So this is I'm arguing with a computer, but I'm telling you, it makes me feel good to do something for a friend. And I've been planning to look for some books that he needs. Yes, book buying. Yep. Yes, I'm super pumped to see Marv. Very excited to see him again. Every con that he's been to my LCS a few times, and I've gotten things signed from him. And when I saw him at Baltimore, I made sure to get my New Teen Titans 1 signed and chat with him a little bit. He's just a great guy. So I've got a volume 4 New Teen Titans graphic novel that I want to get signed. And I got to hunt down a couple more to complete my run. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 7 signed by him already. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7 signed by him, which is so awesome. Only acceptable book buyings are for. All right. As long as you're saying all I read there is acceptable book buying. That's all I see. So, and obviously for me, I'm hunting that Avengers 3. That's the book I want to get for me personally. If I can find it, there's a few uncanny issues that I am upgrading and replacing that I've got on my list that I'll keep an eye out for. But at cons, I feel like those books are very overpriced because X-Men books go for a high markup. And so a book that's just in a nice grade and not a key can still be $100 when it doesn't need to be. Don't want much, do you, Ryan? So that's my con strategy. Meeting and hanging out with friends is number 1. Getting a couple of remarks is number 2. And then looking for books and having a good time saying hi to people is my other plan. I'm going to be there most all day Friday, like most of the day. The con opens around 11:30. So I'm going to be there early and get my badge and get all set, and then eat lunch out there and all that kind of thing. And then Saturday, I'm going to be there early and be there most of the day, but I got to get home early because I'm doing a live stream that night with my man Carlito Clasico. So that's my Saturday, and then Sunday I'll go back and then pick up anything I've dropped off. If I decided that David Mack and I came up with an idea for something fun for that cover, then I might be picking that up from him if he's had the time to tackle that. You have a clear vision video camera. Is that a phone, computer, or Canon? That's a great question, Toby. Thanks for asking. I use a Logitech camera, but I will say the biggest factor in crystal clear view, the factors I will say is lighting. Number one is lighting. If you look at guys like Nick from Comic Culture, you can see guys that have just really good lighting setups. And number two is your internet speed. If you've got good internet speed, that's going to keep the visual from getting grainy. Those are the things that I've noticed have the biggest impact. So the people that I feel like have the best lighting and best internet tend to always have the best quality. The camera matters, but I feel like it matters less than I think people spend too much on cameras sometimes. So this is just a Logitech. It's not even very big. And it just plugs into the side of the laptop and you're good to go. I'll have an ASM 15, AM 15, ASM 1, 2, 3. Sure, I got you. Oh, you got 2 already. Okay, I'll do the 3 and 4 then. Okay. Deathstroke versus Predator. Ooh, okay, Carlito. I'll keep an eye out for you too. I'll keep an eye out for that. Don't joke. Since we already got Wolverine versus Predator. Oh, you're saying you want somebody to draw Deathstroke versus Predator on a cover. But what sketch cover would you put it on? I guess a Deathstroke blank, right? You'd get a blank Deathstroke cover. There's got to be a blank Deathstroke cover out there somewhere. That's a good idea. I like this idea. All right, friends, I'm going to get out of here. It's been an hour. I'm going to do some chores, and then I'm going to be back online tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock my time. The stream is already set up, so you can on my channel right now, you can just go and hit the notification to remind you to tune in if you're a big Oppenheimer fan, or if you want to hear a discussion in and around ethics in science and hear some community members that are amazing, like Robert Galvin, Lady Fantastic, Gore Vidal. We're going to have a fun discussion in and around science tonight. So if you want to be there, that's the place to be tonight. But until then, I will catch you all next time, and have a great, safe weekend, gang. Bye.